Good evening, I'm Megan Wolf.
And I'm Jeremy Donaldson. Our main headlines tonight.
Daddy, it's starting!
To every single one of you's a bit Jesus.
I've told you 1,000 times, Chester. It's the number of blind dates I've been on when no one turned up, followed by the worrying number of lumps under my left arm, the date my childhood sweetheart married my best friend, the age my cat was when I ran I've told you 1,000 times, Chester. The number of blind dates I've been on when no one turned up, followed by the worrying number of lumps under my left arm.
Winston, lovely of you to volunteer for an all-nighter. I'll be with you for the first section, but then I'm off. Got tickets for Smiling Toots Johnson and his Jazz Fandango. Usual stuff for this one. Keep the show on the road and keep the edit snappy. Should be a big night.
I've told you 1,000 times, Chester. It's the number of blind dates I've been on when no one has turned up, followed by the worrying number of lumps under my left arm, the date my childhood sweetheart married my best friend, the age my cat was when I ran him over, the number of conversations I've had with my father, and the exact time my mother walked out. Honestly, I don't see why it's so hard for you to remember.
If you could just sit here, please, Dr. Magnus. The host will be with you shortly.
Not you.
Sorry, Dr. Magnus.
Leave that alone, please, Colin.
I don't like it. Gives me the heebie-jeebies.
What does? Science?
I don't like it.
What doesn't Colin like?
Science, apparently.
Oh, good job there's none here then.
Jeremy, this is Dr. Charles Magnus.
Is he though? Jeremy Donaldson, professional cynic.
All the best minds are.
He's just being modest. He's also a curmudgeon.
Is that from your word of the day calendar?
Oh, sorry I'm late. Phone call. Professor Magnus.
Doctor, apparently.
Oh.
Either is fine.
10 seconds,
Unless you mean
everybody.
surgery.
I beg your pardon.
Lovely to have you.
Going in 5, 4, 3...
Good evening. I'm Jeremy Donaldson.
And I'm Megan Wolf. It's the 13th of March 1985, and this is a Channel 1 special event hosted by your national nightly news team.
In a laboratory nestled in the sleepy hills of Chantlebury, Dr. Charles Magnus and his optimistically named Happiness Collective have been working on a secret project.
They claim their Euphoria device will raise overall happiness levels throughout the country. Tonight, live on Channel 1, we'll be putting that claim to the test.
We'll be in and out the schedule throughout the evening with our team of reporters standing by up and down the country to report live on whether the device has brought a smile to your faces.
We'll have guests from the world of science, politics and entertainment, and of course, those all-important results.
So don't move that dial, stick with Channel 1 all evening as we bring you The Night of Smiles.
Welcome back. In just a few minutes, the impressive machine behind me will be activated in the first ever mass experiment of its type. But first, let's meet the man behind the merriment, Dr. Charles Magnus.
Hello.
Thank you for joining us. You're the leader of the Happiness Collective, as I understand it.
Yes, that's right.
So how's that work then, being the leader of a collective?
Well, I suppose...
Dr. Magnus, how does your Euphoria device work?
Oh, that's simple. I just get my assistant Chester to push the big red button.
Yes, but what does it actually do?
It makes people happier, Mr. Donaldson.
Yes, and how does it do that?
Well, some of that information is proprietary, but I could try and explain the basics.
Oh, well, we've not got long now, Doc, so try not to get too into the weeds.
Well, to put it simply, everything is vibration. Everything is vibrating. A particle is also a wave, and a wave is, if you like, a note. And we all vibrate at different notes depending on our mood. Happier people vibrate at a higher frequency than sad people, for example.
Is that true? How are we measuring that?
In music, there's a concept called resonance. When a note on a piano is played, corresponding strings also sound. They vibrate in resonance. Are you following me so far?
Yes, I have an O-level in music.
And physics?
Yes, in both.
Well, the Euphoria device works in much the same way. The machine generates a note that represents happiness, and all the people and the animals resonate with that note and feel happier. Noticeably, measurably. Well, at least that's the hope.
So, what you're saying is that for unprecedented amounts of public money, running into the tens of millions, you've built a giant piano that only plays one note.
Yes, but it's a very powerful note. And this is the only instrument that can play it.
Wow, there is less than a minute to go now. So while we go and get set up with Chester and yourself over at the Euphoria device, we can go live to the new Advanced HQ for a special message from the Prime Ministers, Peter Clement and Julia Salisbury.
Good evening, everybody. On behalf of Advance, Julia and I just wanted to wish all of you the very best of luck with tonight's groundbreaking experiment.
When this project landed on my desk, I just knew it deserved to be funded. After all, what could possibly be better than increased happiness?
Now, I'll admit, I was a little skeptical, but the lab results are promising, and I'm reliably informed it'll even work on Mrs. C.
So it's a big well done from us to Dr. Magnus and the entire team at the Happiness Collective.
So as my old man used to say, it's time to stop twatting about and get the gimlet frothing.
Wow. Good luck, everybody. Back to the studio.
Fantastic, the Prime Minister's there. And of course, without the funding from the Assets and Wealth Fund...
We'd still be making prototypes out of sticks.
And you are Chester.
Chester Mims, 24. My allergies include nuts, macrame furniture, and liquids with a viscosity over 200 centipoise. I've been Dr. Magnus's assistant for...
3 very long years.
Yes, he calls me his right-hand man.
I do not.
Well, that's enough lab banter for now. Let's see if this ridiculous contraption actually works, shall we?
Yes, I think we can get a counter on the screen. And we're going in 10, 9, 8, 7, come on, Jeremy.
6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1...
I can sense movement down there. I know you're stuck in this with me. Now, it's just a guess, but I think time itself has frozen. However, when it did, this press in case of emergency button the scientist gave me started flashing. And I think it corresponds with the one you have down there in the broadcast room, on that weird-looking machine to your left. I'll press mine now, and let's see if that gets yours working. Lovely of you to volunteer for an all-nighter. I'll be with you for the first section, but then I'm off. Got tickets for Smiling Toots Johnson and his Jazz Fandango. Does this all seem a little familiar to you, Alex? For the last few hours, I've been having a weird sensation of déjà vu. Strange. Maybe I need a snack? Well, good luck with the show.
I've told you 1,000 times, Chester. It's the number of blind dates I've been on when no one has turned up, followed by the worrying number of lumps under my left arm, the date my childhood sweetheart married my best friend, the age my cat was when I ran him over, the number of conversations I've had with my father, and the exact time my mother walked out. Honestly, I don't see why it's so hard for you to remember.
If you could just
Hang
sit here,
on,
please,
this
Dr.
is
Magnus,
extremely
and I'll see you shortly.
Not you.
Sorry, Dr. Magnus.
Leave that alone, please, Colin.
I don't like it. Gives me the heebie-jeebies.
What does? Science?
I don't like it.
What doesn't Colin like?
Science, apparently.
Oh, good job there's none here then.
Jeremy, this is Dr. Charles Magnus.
Is he, though? Jeremy Dawson, professional cynic.
All the best minds are.
He's just being modest. He's also a curmudgeon.
From your word of the day calendar.
Oh, sorry I'm late. Phone call. Professor Magnus.
Doctor, apparently.
Oh.
Either is fine.
10 seconds,
Unless you mean
everybody.
surgery.
I beg your pardon?
Lovely to have you.
Going in 5, 4,
Good evening. I'm Jeremy Donaldson.
And I'm Megan Wolfe. It's the 13th of March, 1985, and this is a Channel 1 special
Yesterday
event
was the
hosted
13th
by
of
your
March.
National Nightly News team.
In a laboratory nestled in the sleepy hills of Chantlebury, Dr. Charles Magnus and his optimistically named happiness
Okay, we are
have been working on
definitely
a
doing the same thing again,
They
Winston.
claim their
And I didn't enjoy it much the
device
first
will
time,
raise overall
much
happiness
as I hate to
levels
admit it,
throughout the
because,
country.
and I want to make this
Tonight's live on Channel 1
absolutely clear,
will be putting
I
this claim to
hate
the test.
science
We'll be
fiction.
in and out the
I think
schedule
something has gone wrong with the chronological order of reality, and we appear to be repeating ourselves. If only there were a
We'll have
name for
guests
such a
from the
phenomenon.
world of science,
When
politics,
time
and
seems to be
entertainment, and of
looping.
course those
There must
all-important
be some sort of
events.
Don't
snappy.
move that dial. Stick with Channel 1 or
Can't think
anything.
of
We
anything.
bring you
Maybe it'll
the
come to me
night
later.
of smiles.
Got it. We'll call this a time loop. Brilliant name, Robert. You've done it again. I should have that trademark. Yes, time loop. Time loop. Time. Bit boring, isn't it, Winston? The event, I mean, not the name, which is snappy and totally original. But you know, this, just watching the same thing. Winston, I have a big red button up here. I'm going to push it. Let's see what happens. Okay, so your button also stops time. Interesting. Right, we've all read enough science fiction nonsense to understand what's happening here. We're clearly going to keep repeating this day again and again until we find a way to break the loop. God, I hope we don't have to go on a journey of self-discovery full of profound insights that lead to personal growth. I have a gig to get to. Leave this with me. I have a brilliant idea. Restart the loop by pressing that big red button again and leave the rest to me. Winston, back with me now. While I was waiting for you to get back to me in the loop, I enacted the solution to our little time-getting-stuck conundrum. There is absolutely no way that button will be pressed again, so the loop won't repeat, and the ghastly problem has been nipped in the bud before anything too ridiculous happens. I don't want to brag here, Alex, but the solution I found is as elegant as it is simple. A lesser mind would probably have struggled even to conceive of such a notion, but to me, Bob Bozeman, it was as obvious as wearing a tie on a Sunday afternoon. I have, and this is the brilliant part, unplugged the machine. Now, watch and learn.
I've told you 1,000 times, Chester. It's the number of blind dates I've been on when no one's turned up, followed by the worrying number of lumps under my left arm, the date my childhood sweetheart married my best friend, the age my cat was when I ran him over, the number of conversations I've had with my father, and the exact time my mother walked out. Honestly, I don't see why that's so hard for you to remember.
If you could just sit here, please, Dr. Magnus. The host will be with you shortly.
It's all going to plan.
Sorry, Dr. Magnus.
Leave that alone, please, Colin.
There's something wrong here.
No, it's fine, Colin.
You can feel it. Is this like the day that you could feel that the mayor of Fiddleshire was some sort of bird person?
No, this is different. Something's fizzing. Ah. Here we go.
No! My plan! It was foolproof!
There we go. Good as new.
Colin, no!
Well, I think it's fairly obvious that did not go to plan, but no point dwelling on who's at fault for what. Let's focus on the task at hand. We'll look at the problem together this time, Alex, and I'm sure we'll come up with the solve. So, I've given you this newfangled pad of mine. It was a gift from the Happiness Collective. Hopefully you noticed it last loop. Apparently, when I write up here, you'll be able to see it down there, which is brilliant. But as far as the science behind it goes, it may as well be magic as far as I'm concerned. Anyway, I'll write down some ideas for plans, and if you just select them on your pad, I'll make sure we implement them for the next loop. Give it a go now. They can't press the button if they aren't doing the I know what you're thinking, Alex. What possible merit could the Cat Football Cup have being on Channel 1? And of course, the answer is they were available and it gets us out of this damn time loop.
No, they take it very seriously.
Oh, of course they do.
Apparently, they hate each other.
Oh, of course they do.
Ancient enmities and bad blood.
They sound like an awful rock album.
Sorry, I'm late. Furball.
Apparently they hate each other.
They do. They absolutely do hate each other.
Oh, well, this should be fun.
Well, while I am glad that the pseudoscience has defected to Hammerman's lot on Channel 3, I think both of us should be congratulated on possibly finding something that's even worse.
You're not a cat person.
I'm not a pet person.
I always assumed you'd keep fish.
Domestic parasites.
10 seconds. What, fish?
No, all the hairy little terrorists.
That's what the crew call you.
Going in 5, 4, 3.
Good evening, viewers of Channel 1, and welcome to this National Nightly News special event.
Tonight, for one night only, we're bringing you everything you need to know about this year's Cat Football Cup final.
We'll have interviews with the coaches, managers, and even the star players. Not quite sure how it's going to work, but I guess we'll find out.
Our roving team of reporters have been tucked away up and down the country to bring you live reactions and pre-match fever.
And, of course, at 9 we'll have all the action of the match itself, live, right here on Channel 1.
So don't go changing that channel. It's going to be perfect here on Channel 1. Welcome back. I'm delighted to be joined by the two coaches of tonight's Cat Football final. And I believe you're also the managers.
And the owners.
Yes.
And I would imagine most of the spectators.
Let's start with you. Felicity.
Snippety Whippet. Felicity Snippety Whippet. I am the manager, coach, owner, spiritual guide and muse for my team, the inimitable little Smallington Big Paws.
That's a name that gives you pause for thought.
It's a family name, actually. The Big Paws have legacy, unlike those so-called fluffers.
The Slingtown Fluffers have plied their skills against superior teams than yours and always achieve proud ends. Tonight should be no different. Expect a tumescent trouncing, Fliss.
Felicity. Felicity. As well you know, you putrid pink prat.
Oh, well, let's just take a moment to breathe. I can see we're both keen competitors, but let's try and keep a friendly atmosphere.
Of course. Apologies. Montgomery Fortune, manager of the Fluffers, soon to be proud fondler of the Cat Football Cup. A man more sinned against than sinning.
Oh, the Big Paws will hold the cup. We've been training all season and we're not slowing down at the finish line. You stand as much chance of winning the cup as Professor Tiddles does of winning a beauty pageant.
You take that back. You know Professor Tiddles only sprouted that blemish because you tried to poison him.
I would never, ever harm a cat. They are divine, graceful, elegant, everything you should strive to be.
I think the sprightly Mercutio I performed in my mess-bent youth would beg to disagree. Besides, your centre forward has mange.
Oh, have you glanced at your team recently? They're more furball than fancy footwork, and their teamwork is so chaotic it's like playing against dogs.
You take that back.
Never. In fact, I'll go further. Your team is lazy, disorganized, and matted. You'd have done better to get them all spayed.
Well, we seem to be a whisker away from a fist fight here.
Will you stop with the cat puns?
I concur. If we could all just calm down, please.
Can't stop meow. I've got too many of these.
So, both of you, I have a question. Cats. They're pointless, really, aren't they?
If no one's in the studio, they come. So, I was right. It turns out that when I turned down the Euphoria experiment for Channel 1, Channel 3 decided they'd make room, and the experiment went ahead as planned. And, well, unless they have their own Alex Winston to press that red button, we may be stuck here forever. But assuming we're not, let's talk about next time round. I suppose if we're going to be stuck here, we may as well get to know each other. We'll start with me. Did you know that I like mushroom? Also, things like the feel of dew on your face in the hills of the Cotsdowns, or a brisk autumn morn. Although, to be honest, some of those I can kind of take or leave. Ooh, here's another one. Did you know that I love the sound of smooth jazz? If you ask me, very little in this world can beat an afternoon alone with the rhythms. Listen, I have a question for you. Do you like the feeling when a man you don't know particularly well brushes against you in the corridor and suddenly you feel a stirring in the... Oh, thank goodness. You were starting to get a little strange there, Alex. Let's just move on. Less said, the better. They must have reset time at 3. Didn't think Dorothy Hammerman had it in her. But anyway, I have to confess, Winston, I had a bit of fun with this one. You see, it had to be something serious enough to actually empty the studio, but not so serious that people would be worried once they were safely away. And then, my eureka moment. I put on a strange voice and called in a bomb threat. Brilliant, isn't it? They've evacuated the whole building. Now, all we have to do is simply wait and... Seems this may have been one of your more short-sighted ideas, Alex. Not to worry, we'll fix it for the next loop. Speaking of, is that your old replacement cleaning the studio now? I wonder if they'll clean the... I'm going to fire that cleaner, but in the meantime, I have a better idea, and it's guaranteed to work. Disclosure here, Winston. I may have gone a little overboard on this one.
I've told you 1,000 times, Chester. It's the number of blind dates I've been on when no one's turned up, followed by the worrying number of lumps under my left arm, the date my... why is my machine covered up?
If you could just sit here, please, Dr.
Someone
Magnus.
has covered up my machine. You there?
Who, me?
Why have you covered up my device?
Not me, mate. I do sound. I agree, though. It just feels wrong, doesn't it?
There's nothing suspicious. Bozeman just wants to do a big reveal. Perhaps Chester would like to.
Really? Can I?
Oh, if you must. Try not to injure yourself.
Yes, Dr. Magnus.
Everything set?
Just a small change. We're going to do a big reveal.
Sorry, I'm late. Leaky gusset. Where do you want me?
Over there with Chester.
Hi.
Chester Mims, 24. My favourite odours are cinnamon, pine leaves, and of course, Asian yoghurt.
Okay.
Preferably 7 months old, if possible.
You'll have to forgive Chester.
Gives it a good nose.
He takes personality advice from women's magazines.
Oh, we had a makeup artist that did that.
Really?
She's dead now.
So, who's opening?
Just trim it down and throw it to Megan.
I'm only joking. She's not dead. Probably just unemployed.
Consider it trimmed.
Possibly homeless, I suppose.
10 seconds.
I mean, she could be dead. I wouldn't know.
Going in
You
5,
scare me.
4, 3.
Good evening. It's March the 13th, 1985, and you join us for a National Nightly News special event. Dr. Charles Magnus and his tritely named team have been building a machine which they claim will raise overall happiness levels throughout the country. Sounds ludicrous to me. Megan?
Jeremy.
Thanks, Jeremy. I am here with Chester Mims, Dr. Magnus's assistant.
Right-hand man.
Sorry?
Right-hand man. He calls me his right-hand man.
I do not!
He does, sometimes.
Well, Chester, without any further ado, let's unveil this Euphoria device. I'm excited, actually. Are you excited, Chester?
Not really. I've seen the device before.
OK, let's go for it, everybody, in 3, 2, 1.
Oh, for goodness sake, Chester.
It's a little larger than I
You just nice
anticipated.
and science, come on. Equal and opposite force, and upwards. Upwards.
Yes, no.
Yes.
Never mind. That was no.
Just...
Oh, God, my eye!
My device! What's happened? Oh.
I don't know. I don't know what's happened.
Well, it appears we'll be having a change of schedule here tonight on Channel 1. Perhaps there's another experiment we can get up and running. We could see if badgers can flip pancakes or work out exactly how much stupid there is.
We're cancelling the experiment?
Of course not, Chester.
What? Doctor, I don't see how we can proceed.
It's fine. We have another device back at the laboratory in Chindlebury. And I'm sure Gerald is watching this now, and if he does, he was expecting there might be some teething problems. He can just fire up that one and off we go. Gerald, if you're watching, we will fire it up now, please. Thank
Well,
you.
that is handy.
Well, that's annoying.
It appears the experiment will be proceeding anyway, if untelevised. So here's hoping we all crack a smile sometime soon.
Oh, terrific.
Won't be long. Only takes a few seconds to charge up the new device, and then Gerald will just...
Okay, this is starting to get irritating. I have tickets for Smiling Toots Johnson, for God's sake. I'll be damned if I'm going to miss it. So what have we learned? We can't cancel the show in any way, or they'll do it on another channel. We can't break the device. They'll just use the backup. So, if we can't nobble the machine, we'll have to nobble the show somehow. I've got a few options to consider. We could put a guard on the machine so it can't be used, or we could change up the hosts and see if we can break the show that way. Or, I suppose, we could let everyone know what's going on and see if we can stop it happening again. Which do you want to do, Winston? If we tell everyone, we... I've installed a tannoy in the studio. Leave this to me. I'm a master of explanation and negotiation.
I've told you 1,000 times, Chester. It's the number of blind dates I've been on when no one turned up, followed by the worrying number of lumps under my left arm, the date my childhood sweetheart married my best friend, the age my cat was when I ran him over, the number of conversations I've had with my father, and the exact time my mother walked out. Honestly, I don't see why that's so hard for you to remember.
If you could just sit here, please, Dr. Magnus. The host will be with you shortly.
Yes. Not you.
Sorry, Dr. Magnus.
Leave that alone, please, Colin.
This reminds me of the time I accidentally ate a load of acid instead of my banana sandwich.
We've all been there, Colin.
Jeremy, this is Dr. Magnus. He is the scientist...
Attention, National Nightly News team. Please gather everybody by the sofas.
Sorry, I'm late. Unstable cat. Was that Bozeman?
This is Bozeman.
Is this a drill?
This is not a drill.
Right, OK, Chester, if you could please join us on the sofas.
And the crew, please. I'm on my way down.
OK, and the crew, please. It's a good idea. Is it someone's birthday? Anyone?
Right, I've gathered you all here because I'm afraid I have to tell you something that's going to be hard to comprehend. For all of you, this is a normal day. But for Alex, Winston, and I, it is repeating over and over again. We are trapped in some sort of time loop. And it always begins when someone presses the button on that infernal machine over there.
The Euphoria device? Impossible. Temporal attunement ironed out all the problems with the time circuitry months ago.
I'm sorry, are you quite all right, Robert?
Yes, I'm fine, Jeremy. Look, I know this is hard to accept, but if you'll just
Not
listen...
for me.
What's that, Colin?
Not my first time. Been caught in a couple of these.
You're experienced with time loops, Colin.
Oh yeah, Strong's always getting caught up in stuff like this. Time loops, multiverses. Standard Wednesday. I'm pretty much immune to this stuff now.
I'm sorry, are we choosing to believe this?
Of course not. There's no such thing as a time loop. It's impossible.
It throws up too many paradoxes.
Exactly. Too many paradoxes. It's an impossibility.
Well, it may be an impossibility, but Winston and I are trapped in one right now.
Well, it can't be our machine. We haven't even started it up yet.
Yes, and that's exactly how it's going to stay.
What, you're cancelling the show?
We're already live, I believe.
Yes, a few minutes now.
I'm sorry, the viewing public are currently watching you have a massive nervous breakdown. That can't be good.
Can we get security up here, please?
Yes, and a doctor.
Is everything okay at home, Mr. Bozeman?
Yes, everything is okay at home. I'm telling you, that machine is going to break reality itself.
That's also impossible.
The Department of Metaversal Stability fixed that issue months ago.
This machine is totally safe. I will prove it to you.
Oh, no, you don't.
Oh, Mr. Bozeman, stop.
Is everything all right here, Mr. Bozeman?
Help me restrain this man.
I think he's having an episode.
Standard time loop stuff, this never works.
Why don't you believe me?
Could you let the guest go, please?
No, you don't understand.
Why don't you let him go, Robert, and we can go have a little chat about it?
We don't need a little chat. Oh, for God's sake.
I don't know what sort of operation you clowns think you're running here, but if you think you can stand in the way of science, you've got another thing coming.
Well, I tried. Okay, carry on then. I'm going back to my office.
If you could just come with us for a moment, sir.
Of course.
Okay, everyone, back to your places, please. Save this.
Well, firstly, an apology to our viewers at home who've had to witness, well, what just happened. Our boss has been having a breakdown on national television. Personally, I can't think of anything more mortifying, but I can assure you he will receive the best possible care.
After him! He's heading for the stairs!
Meanwhile, everyone here feels a bit upset, so now would be a perfect time to test a device which makes the unlikely claim of being able to cheer everybody up. Dr. Magnus?
Yes.
Actually, the machine uses resonance to raise the...
No one cares, Chester.
The problem is people pressing the... I found a lovely chap. Didn't have a lot of experience, but he seems enthusiastic, and that's the most important thing.
I've told you 1,000 times, Chester. It's the number of blind dates I've been on when no one's turned up, followed by the worrying number of lumps under my left arm and... Excuse me, who's that?
If you could sit here, please, Dr. Magnus. The host will be with you shortly.
Not you.
Sorry, Dr. Magnus.
Leave that alone, please, Colin.
Who are you? Well, stay away from the device, sir.
All right, mate, keep your hair on. You're only a blip anyway.
What?
Jenny, why is there an armed man in my studio?
Who are you?
Oh, hi, I'm Andy. Drop Dead Security.
Unfortunate name.
Yeah, I was thinking of changing it.
Jenny, who is this?
I've had all these cards printed.
Bozeman hired him.
What, to protect the device?
He seems really invested in it, insisted on briefing him personally.
Do you know how to use it?
Yeah?
You don't sound very sure about that.
Oh, what? Yeah, but it's fine, right? I took a course.
3 months?
2 days.
Brilliant.
10 seconds, everybody.
You okay?
I hate guns.
Oh, I think they're quite fun.
5, 4, 3.
Good evening. I'm Jeremy Dawson.
And I'm Megan Wolfe. It's the 13th of March 1985 and this is a Channel 1 special event hosted by your national nightly news team.
In a laboratory nestled in the sleepy hills of Chittlebury, Dr. Charles Magnus and his optimistically named Happiness Collective have been working on a secret project.
They claim their Euphoria device will raise overall happiness levels throughout the country. Tonight, live on Channel 1, we'll be putting that claim to the test.
We'll be in and out of the schedule.
God, sorry again. Yeah.
In and out of the schedule.
No. Oh, sorry, I think it's my allergies. I think it's my allergies. I'm really playing up today.
We're on and off all night. Your go.
We'll have guests from the world of science, politics and entertainment, and of course, those all-important results.
So don't change that channel. Stick with channel 108.
No, it's getting worse. I think it might be your perfume. I think it's her perfume.
Right, I noticed you managed to hold it together through Megan's line.
What? Oh, sorry, mate. I think my ears are swelling.
Well, good luck with that. It's the Night of Smiles.
Night of Smiles.
Roll the titles.
45.
Magnus seems to enjoy torturing him with impossibly convoluted maths problems.
Welcome to the Night of Smiles. In just a few minutes, the impressive machine behind me will be activated in the first ever mass test of its type. So let's meet the man behind the merriment, Dr. Charles Magnus.
Dr. Magnus, thank you for joining us. I understand you're the leader of the Happiness Collective, is that right?
Dr. Magnus?
Excuse me, young man.
Me?
Yes. Did you say it was your job to stop the big red button being pressed?
Yeah, pretty much sums it up, yeah.
You do realise I built that machine?
Oh, I don't know anything about the science of it. No, don't come too close, though.
I have spent my entire adult life trying to make everyone in the world, including myself, happier. That's a noble aim, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, it's lovely, that. Well done.
Thanks. Well, the thing is, to bring my work, my life's work, to completion, I need to press that button. Do you understand me, Andy?
Yeah, but the thing is, I can't have you doing that, see, so...
This is ridiculous.
Just realising that now, are we?
I'm sorry, Andy. Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, we're going out live right now, and the whole point of this segment is that it culminates in that big button being pushed. Now, I don't know what our boss has told you, but you must have misunderstood because he would never sabotage this show.
Just follow your orders, Andy.
When did
I love this thing. I'm going to have these put in everywhere.
Right, stay back. Stay back. I'm drawing my gun, right?
Stop.
Andy!
You bugger! Sorry, my Tom!
Blithering idiot. The police can keep him. Bloody fool can't guard a bloody button. This is what happens when there's no time for a proper candidate selection process. I've always said it. Just pick another one. Well, if nothing else, I'm sure Bannon will... I also got Jenny out. Let's avoid a repeat of that Andy incident.
I've told you 1,000 times, Chester. It's the number of blind dates I've been on when no one's turned up, followed by the worrying number of lumps under my left arm, the date my childhood sweetheart married my best friend, the age my cat was when I ran him over, the number of conversations I've had with my father, and the exact time my mother walked out. I honestly don't see why that's so hard for you to remember.
Hi, sorry, yes. Hi, Dr. Magnus and Chester. If you could both just take a seat here for me, please. Mr. Bannon will be with you shortly. And this is Miss Short, just over here.
Hi, Robin Short. Pleasure to
Not
meet you.
you.
But she said that I should...
I don't care what she said. She's clearly out of her depth. You get to press the big red button later. Now, off you trot.
Oh, I don't think we should touch that, Colin.
Leave that alone, please, Colin. Who are you?
I'm Mr. Bannon's sort of...
Bannon? This is a horrible idea. I need some warm-up whips.
What's a horrible idea? Who is that weird little man? I want him fired right now.
We're only here for one night, Patrick. I don't think we can go around firing people. I'm mostly making this up as I go along.
Oh, how reassuring.
That's Dr. Magnus and... where's Chester?
Oh, my goodness. I'm so sorry about her. She's new. For some reason, they keep leaving. The station lumps me with these arseholes. I think they see me as some sort of mentor to them, whereas actually, I'm more of a guru. Patrick Bannon, nice to meet you.
Any relation to Graham Bannon?
Oh, it's a bit complicated.
He's
that one.
his son.
I'm his son, yep.
Don't worry, you're in perfectly capable hands with Patrick and I. True professionals.
Looking forward to the big button press?
Yes, it will be the culmination of many months of hard work and long nights.
Crikey, when did you actually start?
Well, we were tinkering for years, but we didn't really get going until Advance came through with the funding.
There we go, all here. Lovely. Okay, we're going live in 10.
You know, often wonder what it'd be like to be sitting here in the big chair.
Big chairs.
Be the man in front of the camera.
Or woman.
Jeremy Donaldson 2.0.
Going.
You're welcome to that one.
In 5. No,
I'll tell you, Robin,
sorry, 3.
I've got absolutely
Oh, no, we're live.
I'm not planning on spunking this opportunity right up the curtains. No, sirree.
Patrick, we're live!
Good evening, I'm Patrick Bannon.
And I'm Robin Short. It's the 13th of March 1985, and this is a Channel 1 special event hosted by your national nightly news reporting team.
Yes. Jeremy Donaldson and Megan Wolf are off doing something. I don't know what, no one told us. So I'll be hosting this once-in-a-lifetime event.
Yes, we will, Patrick. Gently nestling in the sleepy hills of Chintlebury is a solitary laboratory where Dr. Charles Magnus and his wonderfully named Happiness Collective have been working on a secret project.
Yes, indeed. I do like a good nestle, don't you, Rob?
What?
I like a good, don't worry about it. The team are claiming that this Euphoria device will raise overall happiness levels throughout the country. Tonight, I'll be putting that claim to the test, live on Channel 1.
As will I. We have reporters positioned up and down the country and a smorgasbord of fabulous expert guests right here in the studio to check those all-important results.
But don't even think about changing that channel. You stay right here with me. Us. Live on Channel 1 for
The Night of Smiles.
Magnus appears, he lists 6 tragic facts from his life. Why?
Welcome back. In just a few short minutes, the Euphoria device will be activated, and I'll be even happier than I already am, sitting here hosting this. Doesn't seem possible. Maybe are we. But before that, let's meet the men behind the merriment, Mr. Chester Mims and Dr. Charles Magnus.
Hello.
Hi. I can't believe I'm here.
You're not supposed to be.
Oh, thanks for joining me. Dr. Magnus, you're the leader of this Happiness Collective, is that right?
Yes, that's right.
And what does this thing actually do?
Well, we have one underlying unifying goal: to scientifically and quantifiably improve happiness levels for everyone, everywhere. The Euphoria device is the culmination of years of research from many experts around the globe.
So, then, how does it actually work?
Oh, well, that's simple. I just get my assistant, Chester, here to push the big red button.
well, it's actually a little bit more complicated than that. You see, I have to attune it. I push the big red button, yes.
Yeah, sure. Once you push that thing, or you or me, it doesn't matter, does it? What does it actually do?
It makes you feel happier, Mr. Bannon.
Well, I'm following the science.
But how does it make us feel happier, Dr. Magnus?
Obviously, some of that information is proprietary, but...
Oh, of course, please, say no more.
OK.
No, don't literally say no more. We're doing a TV show, for God's sake.
Oh, well, I could explain some of the basics.
Oh, bear in mind, we've not got too long to go now, so let's keep it simple for old Patrick here.
No, hold on. No. I'm good at science, actually. I did science all the way through school.
I was only joking.
Yeah, and I dated a science teacher once, so probably picked a thing or two up by Ozymandias.
Osmosis?
Yes, look, I'm just saying that I'm perfectly qualified to discuss science. Thank you.
OK, Dr. Magnus, perhaps you could explain it in layman's terms for a thicko like me.
Yeah, for a thicko like her.
Well, to put it simply, everything is vibrating. Everything is vibrating. Sorry?
I'm not vibrating.
Well, interestingly, actually you are.
Everything is.
I'm not.
Well,
look at that. Steady as a bloody rock, that is.
Yes, it appears steady, but actually...
Do you know what they call being boy cadets?
No.
Have a guess.
Cadet Bannon?
Yes, they called me Cadet Bannon because the Sergeant Major said they had to, but also something else. Go on, a nickname, come on. You little clown boy, have a guess.
Is this a game? I like games. My favourite games are hide the pickle, cock or ball.
No cock or ball, have a guess.
Steady hand Bannon.
It was steady hand, that's right, steady hand Bannon, well done. Good guess. Steady hand Bannon. Point is, not vibrating in any way.
If you say so.
Would have been a deadly sniper.
I'm sure you would.
Too much sitting around, though. The Bannons don't have time for that, no siree.
Thank you very much, Patrick. You were saying,
Obviously
Dr. Magnus.
interspersed with the odd...
Crikey.
But most are just sort of sitting around. It's a boring job.
Dr. Magnus.
Yes. Well, a particle is also a wave, and in music
Brimley
there's
Sands.
What's that now?
I was saying Brimley Sands. Went there on the summer. Beautiful place. Loads of them there.
I'm sorry, what are you talking about?
Oh, my God, we're talking about waves, aren't we? So I went to Brimley Sands. Obviously, didn't go right up to the coastline. Got to protect the money maker as well.
Yes, but those aren't the waves we're talking about, Mr. Bannon.
These are smaller ones, like radio waves.
Pretty sure you don't get waves on the radio, Robin.
They come out of the radio.
OK, well, if that was true, then why isn't my sideboard all wet from the waves? You explain that with your science.
Is there any point?
I could give it a go.
It's a rhetorical question, Chester.
Just like to be or not to be, that's also a rhetorical question.
It absolutely isn't.
Shall I go on?
No time.
Crikey! Well, I'm sorry, but we've actually wasted the chance to chat about all of that.
Well, I think we all learned a lot from that. I know I did.
OK, we've got less than 2 minutes to go now, Patrick. So, while Chester goes over there to configure the Euphoria device, thank you, Chester, we are going to go live to the new Advanced HQ for a special message from the Prime Ministers, Peter Clement and Julia Salisbury. Let's go to the...
Good evening, everybody. On behalf of Advanced, Julia and I just wanted to wish all of you the very best of luck with tonight's groundbreaking experiment.
When this project landed on my desk, I just knew it deserved to be funded. After all, what could possibly be better than increased happiness?
Now, I'll admit, I was a little sceptical, but the lab results are promising.
The machine to your left.
I'm reliably
How many
informed
combination
it'll even
locks did it have again?
on this is C.
So it's a big well done from us to Dr. Magnus and the entire team at the Happiness Collective.
So as my old man used to say, it's time to stop twatting about and get the gimlet frothing.
Wow. Good luck, everybody. Back to the studio.
Maybe leave it to the scientists.
No. That's just what they want you to do. No, journalism is about taking massive risks for even bigger rewards. Being seen to do something, even if you're doing nothing at all. Now, this is my big opportunity, and I'm going to grasp it with both hands.
I thought this job was going to be glamorous.
Good one.
Just day after day with this fucking...
You'll outlast him.
This isn't going to end well, is it?
Oh, maybe you'll get lucky and he'll fire you.
God, yeah.
Just bide your time.
Shit, time.
We're live! Oh! Fantastic! Our Prime Ministers, ladies and gentlemen.
Sorry,
and
what's
of course,
going on? Why is Chester over there?
Well, we thought it might be better if a handsome young journalist in a suit did the push, you know, rather than a sort of stuffy old thing in a lab coat.
Look, Mr. Bannon, I really
This
don't
is
think
highly irregular.
Patrick, I really
Let's
think
get
it would be
involved!
better.
We've got a new catchphrase to try out as well when we get there. OK, let's start with 10, shall we? 10, 9, 8, come on, Boffin, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get your Bannon on!
This one's going to be an absolute... Right, these two have absolutely no training. This is going to be a disaster. I've told them it's a job swap. They're all so freaked out. It's been a lovely day.
Bloody brilliant.
This is a stupid idea.
Hope my nan's watching from her cell.
Of all the stupid ideas Bozeman has got from books on intrepid management style, this has to rank as the stupidest.
This is my favourite version yet.
This is so fun. I don't want to be on TV.
Job swap!
I'm not using my real surname.
Don't use your real surname. God, no, I don't.
You look amazing. They're going to love you.
How do I look?
Like a used car salesman.
Excellent. Sprong's consider enterprise to be prime amongst the virtues.
Why is that, Colin?
No one knows. It was written on a spoon.
On a spoon?
10 seconds.
Down the
Where
side
are
of
the guests?
5, 4, oh God, shit, 2, go!
Good evening. I'm Jenny Skywalker.
And I'm Colin Strong. With a wooden one. Oh, the spoon, that's how they're able to get the writing down the stool.
Colin, shut up. Just carry on.
You're not supposed to be heard.
Follow the auto cue then.
Oh, right, the auto cue. Snuggled into the warmly heaving bosom of Tinderbury, nestling in the soft embrace of its tempting folds. Who wrote this? I did not write this.
I wrote it, just read it.
It's like a bad erotic romance novel.
A team of strong but inwardly vulnerable scientists have knotted their collective brows in pulsing concentration as they strive heroically towards one end and one end alone.
To make us all happier. Will it work?
Probably not. Actually, it doesn't say that. That's just what I think. It says, let's find out. Tonight on
The Night of Smiles.
Title, 45 seconds.
I've got it. There's a link between Magnus's tragic list of events and the combination lock.
Welcome back. In just a few minutes, the machine thrusting firmly upwards behind me. It's not behind me, actually, it's over there. Will be expertly turned on in the first ever mass experiment of its type. But first, let's meet the man behind the merriment.
The boy with the joy.
Dr.
The bloke with the jokes. I've got loads of these.
Actually,
The friend...
don't tell jokes. I'm really awful at them.
Dr. Charles Magnus, thank you for being here, and I'm sorry about, well, pretty much everything, but especially Colin.
Rude.
Dr. Magnus, why devote your life to something as ephemeral as happiness?
Well, I suppose I'd seen happy people from time to time, and I thought it looked nice.
But shouldn't happiness come as a result of our personal experiences? Shouldn't it be earned?
Not necessarily. One of my uncles once won a year's happiness on a scratch card.
Yeah, that question was more for Dr. Magnus.
Yes, but our surreal friend here does make a good point. I mean, why should we have to earn happiness when we could have it for free?
Because, well, then it doesn't mean anything, does it? It's not real happiness. It's just a drug administered through the air.
I don't think that's very
What about
fair.
if someone at home tonight watching this has just experienced a bereavement? What if they don't want to feel happier? What if your device interferes with the natural process of grieving? Have you considered that?
Well, my device will... there's no malice intended. Chester, come here a minute.
Let's welcome Chester to the show.
Chester Mims, 24. I enjoy science, orienteering, and the cheeses of the West Country.
Chester, have we made the calculations for the recently bereaved?
Yes, I'm sure we have. 1 second, I'll just...
Dr. Magnus, have your team done an adequate risk assessment for this experiment?
Yes, we have. I think we have, yes.
Oh, that's cool.
Chester,
Look, he's starting to crack.
Effect on the unborn child, effect on boxers and other aggression-based activities. Yes. Effect on the bereaved, nth potential corrected for by 18% with reality stabilization circuitry. Yes, provided that no one messes around with the circuitry on the relay, I'm sure we'll be absolutely fine.
Well, I believe we have a special message from the Prime Ministers to wish you luck. Maybe they should wish us all luck.
You know, you weren't the only channel that wanted to run this experiment live.
Oh, no, we're really glad you're here.
Well, you seem very cynical.
Sorry, I don't usually host these things, that's probably why.
Yes, we were promised Jeremy Donaldson.
That probably wouldn't have gone much better for you.
You know, I've a good mind to call the whole thing off.
No, let's not do that. I'll never work in TV again. Let's just listen to the Prime Ministers.
Good evening, everybody. on behalf of Advance, Julie and I just wanted to wish all of you the very best of luck with tonight's groundbreaking experiment.
When this project landed on my desk, I just knew it deserved to be funded. After all, what could possibly be better than increased happiness?
Now, I'll admit, I was a little sceptical, but the lab results are promising, and I'm reliably informed it'll even work on Mrs. C.
So it's a big well done from us to Dr. Magnus and the entire team at the Happiness Collective.
So as my old man used to say, it's time to stop twatting about and get the gimlet frothing.
Wow. Good luck, everybody. Back to the studio.
Welcome back. Let's press this button and see if the universe breaks.
The odds of the universe actually breaking are infinitesimally small.
Well, you two better get your story straight. It's a bit of fun. Wouldn't want to do it every time now.
Well, nothing's worked and we still had to sit through that clusterfuck. Can't break the machine, can't break the show. But the scientists, yes, we could break them. Let's go again, Winston. I know what needs to be done. I found the solution. No scientists, no experiment. Sit back and relax, Winston. This one's all me. It's going to be a very short show.
And you're sure you haven't seen them?
Not for the last half an hour or so. They're normally out here by now banging on about numbers.
And you've checked everywhere. The break room, Dr. Magnus's dressing room.
Break room, they're always out of the dressing room by now.
Colin, can you please just go and check if they're in the dressing room and I'll get security to do another look around. Don't press that button.
I do believe we were sent there on purpose, Chester.
Oh, bugger.
On purpose? Dr. Magnus, who would have sent us there intentionally?
I'm not sure. Perhaps it was a competition.
The Blissful Union?
Yes, those nerds have been jealous of our Euphoria device ever since we secured the funding from Advance.
They're trying to stop us?
Yes. We must proceed immediately.
Dr. Magnus, if we hadn't have got out of there, I'm not sure.
If you hadn't got us out, Chester, I mean, that thing. If you hadn't broken the door down and got us out with that unexpectedly impressive show of strength, well, you did well today, Mr. Mims. You did well.
Dr. Magnus, that's the kindest thing you've ever said to me.
I know I've been a bit harsh on you in the past, Chester, but I promise that this changes from now until the end of time.
Thank you, sir. That means so much.
There you are, Dr. Magnus. We were worried something had happened to you. Glad you both look fine. Actually, you look like you've seen a ghost. Are you all right?
We have undergone a deeply distressing and scientifically implausible trauma at the hands of our enemies. We are absolutely and definitively not all right. Fortunately, a remedy is at hand.
Dr. Magnus, we're not even...
The solution is flawless. The execution is the problem. I don't know why you suggested the old haunted man and soundstage. Terrible idea. But I have a better place. Don't worry, Alex. I'll clean up your mess. Okay, there is no way those scientists are showing up on this show. I think we're good.
And you're sure you haven't seen them?
It's so infuriating you don't remember our conversations, you know.
And you've checked everywhere. The break room, Dr. Magnus's dressing room.
Yes, and I've sealed off the old band soundstage.
Wait, why would you do that? Colin, can you please just go and check if they're in the dressing room and I'll get security to do another look around.
Yes, look all you want. You won't find them this time.
Why can't he press the button? Isn't that the whole point, isn't it? Wait, where is everybody?
Where
How am I supposed to be speaking to Professor What's-His-Face and his collection of smiling idiots? Jenny?
Yes, Dr. Charles Magnus and his assistant.
Sorry, I'm late filing my teeth. Where are the guests?
They seem to have mysteriously disappeared. I'll have them back here by the time you come back from the titles, don't worry.
It's considered poor form to lose the guests, Jenny.
Well, next time, I'll read the news and you can chase the wandering scientist. How about that? 10 seconds.
Probably do a good job.
Oh, you can make Colin my co-anchor. Going in 5, 4, 3.
Good evening. I'm Jeremy Donaldson.
And I'm Megan Wolfe. It's the 13th of March, 1985, and this is The Night of Smiles. In just a few minutes, the impressive machine behind me will be activated in the first ever mass experiment of its type. So let's talk about the man behind the merriment, Dr. Charles Magnus, who will be speaking to you later this evening. Truly a visionary. Right, Jeremy?
Yes, if by visionary you mean...
Sabotage!
Dr. Magnus, what happened?
Told us it was the way to get into the studio.
It didn't seem believable, but he was so convincing.
Yes, I bloody was.
He told us that all television studios were entered by shoot.
We don't work in television. How are we supposed to know?
So we got in and...
the darkness.
And...
the sliding. The big splash. And the wet.
And the clownfish.
Lucky the viscosity was low, or heaven knows what would have happened.
Somebody is clearly out to sabotage us.
Yes, Dr. Magnus, probably the blissful union.
I concur. Those nasty little geese. We must start the experiment immediately.
Wait.
Right, I've had enough. There's only one real solution that will fix this once and for all. Once more into the breach, dear Winston. Once more.
And you're sure you haven't seen them?
No.
Yes, they definitely won't be coming on now.
And you've checked everywhere. The break room, Dr. Magnus's dressing room.
Spooky place, aquarium.
Actually had to kill them,
Colin,
Winston.
why would you check that?
I didn't mean to.
Don't check
I
those or
thought
any other
knocking them
crazy places
unconscious
you
would
can think
work,
of.
but
Go to the
then they
dressing
fought
room.
We're
back.
not going to be there. We've been through this.
Colin, please,
His
just
dressing
go and
room
check
is
if they're
in
in
a
the dressing room,
right
and I will get
state.
security to do another look around. Oh, and don't press that button.
Why can't he press the button? That's the whole
But
point,
on
isn't
the
it?
bright side, they won't press
where
the
is
button
everybody?
now.
Aren't we
So
supposed
we're
to
out
be
of
speaking to
the
a
loop,
high
which
whatnot
is...
or something from the grinning morons?
We're out of the loop.
Jenny?
And I
Dr.
killed
Magnus and his assistant.
So sorry I'm late. Blood everywhere. Where are the guests?
Both of them have mysteriously disappeared.
No. I
Sorry,
can't go
I'll
to
come back
jail.
with you before you come
I
back from
wouldn't
the
do well in the
titles.
joint, Alex.
Fine, Jenny.
That won't do it all.
Next time, I read the news and you chase after the wandering scientist. How about that? 10 seconds.
Scientists, you really think there should be some sort of quality check?
Going in 5, 4. Mr. Bozeman?
Sorry, Jenny, but I just can't live with this timeline. We're going again.
The number of blind dates I've been on when no one has turned up, followed by
Right,
the
here we
worrying
are
number
again.
of lumps
Your
under
button should
my
be
left.
working, Winston. Push it to freeze time. So, only Magnus can stop the experiment, which he doesn't want to do. Which means we'll just have to fix his machine for him. It's got to be something to do with the relay, that contraption on your left. Fortunately, I found some instructions for it lying around in Magnus's definitely unlocked briefcase. Apparently, altering the machine's core workings is all about the wires, but we can't get at them because of the glass panel, which appears to have an unnecessarily complex combination lock. The instructions say, there is no way to unlock the relay without your customized combination, so we suggest writing it down or not forgetting it. Well, that's a great help. Maybe we'll get lucky and it's already set correctly? There should be a small button next to the combination to allow you to check it. Give it a press now and let's see what happens. All those red lights should indicate that none of the combination is correct. Ah well, that probably would have been too convenient and unfulfilling if the code was already entered for us. It says here you should be able to change the number by moving the dials up or down. Then, as we did before, press the button to see if we've entered the code correctly. Just check you can change the numbers now. Excellent. That all seems to be working. I suppose we'll just have to work out the code the old-fashioned way. Take a look at the notepad and I'll show you where I'm at with it all. Well, I never. Do you secretly work at the Happiness Collective, Alex? I can't see how else you could have figured out the combination without getting all the clues from Magnus. I'll have to keep an eye on you and make sure you aren't moonlighting in the future. Okay, Alex, we did it. What a good little stooge you make. Now, as I said before, the instructions say the core workings of the relay machine all revolve around the wire sets. Apparently, there are 2 sets, one group of 3 on the left and one group of 4 on the right. Let me just read you the instructions here. To change the output function, take one wire from the left-hand variant number group and swap it to the right-hand departmental register group. Attention! Do not, under any circumstances, swap wires in the same group. The relay device has a very specific configuration, and deviating from the instruction provided in this handbook could result in unintended, disastrous consequences. Noted. Well, that seems clear enough. Try picking up one of the wires now, Alex. Now connect that wire to a different wire in the other group. Ah!
Winston, what the hell is this? I'm trapped inside the body of my annoying little nephew. There's normally a sentence that leads to a court appearance, but I think on this very specific occasion, it foreshadows something far more exciting. I think we've stumbled into a multiverse. A bloody multiverse. Yes, I know it's a bit passé and everyone's got one these days, but I've personally never been in one before, so it's a big day for me. Let's go exploring, and while we're here, let's try and find clues as to who this mysterious her is. The one who makes Magnus weak at the elbows. Might be useful. Listen out for clues as to her honorific, first name, surname, and the department she works in at the Happiness Collective. I look it up in this personnel department book to my left here, but where's the fun in that? Bloody multiverse, baby! And Kenneth's management. Find me a universe that makes sense. Ring that charming bell if you hear anything useful.
Got a plan of attack?
I'm going to start on the variants and move on to the consumer stuff once he's on the ropes.
Got 2 on the ropes. We still have to have the button pressed, Adrian.
Not if he chooses not to. The only one who can stop the experiment is Magnus.
Very interesting.
And what will we fill the rest of the schedule with tonight?
That's Kenneth's problem.
Shit.
He'll think of something. He's nothing if not creative.
Well, I'd like to keep his creativity away from my employment contract, if that's okay.
When you hire Adrian Atkinson Blimey, you know what you're getting.
It's a popular science piece.
And what you're getting is a skilled dissection.
Adrian, this is not incisors.
Hmm? Certainly looks like incisors. I mean, this is the incisors studio, isn't it? And, oh yes, this is definitely my background. Look, it's got incisors written on it. Oh, and there's my face.
You are dreadful at sarcasm.
but excellent at journalism.
10 seconds, everybody. You can bark, but you can't bite.
Keep it smart, everyone.
In 5, 4, 3.
Good evening. Tonight on Channel 1, we'll be dedicating most of the schedule to an innovative experiment. Dr. Charles Magnus and his sagacious collective claim their Euphoria device, this contraption you see right here, will make all of us more convivial, including you. Is that credible? No. Or even ethical? No. Tonight, with the help of you, our discerning viewers, we are all going to find out. I'm Adrian Atkinson-Blimey, your host for an evening of experimental harmonic science.
That's about 40 seconds back. Can we get the guests in and mic checked, please?
My nan watches this, Joe.
Smart woman.
5 degrees, 2 homicides.
I know, I interviewed her lawyer, remember?
Oh, yeah, I forget. You think this is normal?
You're a strange man, Colin.
You're not the first to say that, Mr. Blimey.
Good evening. Nice to meet you.
She said not to talk to him, remember?
Who?
The scary lady.
Well, all ladies are scary to you.
10 seconds.
She said that he doesn't like to speak to guests before interviews because it
Going in 5, 4, 3.
Welcome back. In just a few minutes, this singular machine will be activated, marking the inaugural investigation into emotional resonance. But before we switch it on, let's dig our teeth in. Dr. Charles Magnus, you are the head of the self-styled Happiness Collective and the inventor of this fascinating emitter.
Yes, that's correct. Good evening. And this is my assistant.
Chester Mims, 24. It says here that your favourite numbers are 5 minus 800 and the square root of -1.
Yes, that's right.
If I understand it correctly, gentlemen, and I should imagine that I do, your device's frequency should raise the vibrational state of all conscious life until we attain a frequency that your experiments have demonstrated represents happiness.
Yes, that's right.
That's the theorized outcome.
But of course, it's not just felicitousness, is it? No. Other frequencies could also be targeted by the same technology.
Well, yes, theoretically, but why would you want to do that?
Maybe that's a question for someone else?
I'm not an ethicist.
I am. Mr. Mims, this device is rather large and cumbersome, and what we see here is only part of it, I believe, as the relay has had to be hardwired into the power conduits in our broadcast room. Am I correct?
At great expense.
Well, of course, this is the first iteration. Let's not forget that the earliest computers required huge rooms to house them. And over time, they've become able to fit on just a moderately large desk. We'd imagine that in the future, further iterations would be much more portable and personal use.
Yes, we can perceive a world where people can choose to alter their emotions whenever they want and whatever they want to feel.
Domestic devices? Emanating on a room-sized scale?
Yes, at first, yes. Eventually portable, perhaps even pocket-sized. I mean, just imagine the possibilities.
Yes, I am. I'm thinking of the possibility of inviting a female guest back to my emotionally controlled room and setting my home device to induce lust in her.
Get him, Adrian.
Of the rebellious teenager who takes his to school set for anger. The offices set for fear, compliance.
But why would anybody in their right mind want to do that?
Why does humanity do any of its evil?
Again,
Oh, Christ, sorry,
This is it.
It just makes people happier.
For now.
Whilst I respect your line of questioning, Adrian, I have to confess, well, I'm feeling somewhat ambushed.
I'm afraid that your confession will have to wait, Dr. Magnus, because I'm going live now to Advance Headquarters to speak to the nominal leaders of our fragile coalition government. Are you receiving me, Prime Ministers?
Loud and clear, Adrian. What an exciting evening. When we formed a coalition, one of the first pieces of common ground we planted our mutual flags on was the importance of supporting our science and technology industries.
After all, what's the point in all that superior education we're providing if there's no jobs at the other end of it?
Dr. Magnus and his team impressed us with the simple, well-intentioned nature of their project. Everyone happier. How could we not fund that? It is, after all, one of the 4 basic requirements of a government.
And all this experimental technology was funded by the government?
Well, yes. I mean, we've invested record sums in funding the science and the...
So I assume you own the resultant technology?
Well, not us, Adrian. The public own this incredible technology. It was, after all, their taxes that paid for it.
But the public don't have the capacity to alter the device, do they? Or to make other devices?
Well, what sort of other devices?
That's an excellent question. Let's chew on it for a while. In 1518, the residents of the city of Strozhnev in southern Skonsk experienced what was known as the dancing plague.
Fascinating.
People began spontaneously dancing and they didn't stop for days. It was infectious. More and more people joined in. They literally danced themselves to death.
You're making that up. I mean, surely he's making that up.
You can look it up in an encyclopedia after the show, Prime Minister. I'm suggesting that if one amplifies this device sufficiently, it becomes a weapon, does it not?
What make the enemy dance themselves to death? Well, that's hardly an effective military strategy, Adrian.
Or with a few garble adjustments, surely it could send an enemy encampment mad with rage or suicidal with despair?
We have no such plans, nor would Dr. Magnus and his team sanction such a use.
Think of it. At the flick of a switch, demonstrators are calmed, protesters pacified.
We would never use such a device on the general population.
And what of the commonality? In a society where this technology is commonplace, how would a citizen know whether the emotions they were feeling from minute to minute were even their own?
Yeah, where's your science now, bitch?
Insightful questions, as always, Adrian, but tonight is about an attempt to make people happier. And, well, we're here just to wish you all the very best of luck.
Back to you in the studio.
The Prime Minister's there. Pricks. And of course, without the funding that you receive...
We'd still be making mice grin a bit.
If I might say something.
Of course, Doctor. This programme thrives on the...
Yes, but it'll take more than a fucking resonator to cheer me up, I can tell you.
We'll see.
Departments in the collective, and...
Oh, was it her?
Stand by, stand by.
Oh, you know Dr. Magnus, Professor...
Yeah, split, dippy, diddly, docious.
It's something in the air, Winston, but I've got my guitar, and I've got a strong urge to sing.
Why, Chester, old bean, I've told you 1,000 times. Please try this time to remember.
It's the number of dates so late that they never ever show. Lumps continuing to worrisomely grow. The date my heart was saddened, the age my cat got flattened, the chats that were had with my reticent dad, and the time my mum walked off into the sun.
Dates so late that they never ever show.
Yes!
Lumps continuing to worrisomely grow.
That's right!
The date your heart got saddened.
The age that cat got flattened.
The chats that you had with your reticent dad, and the time your mum walked off into the sun.
By George, he's got it!
It's the dates so late that they never ever show. Lumps continuing to worrisomely grow. The date this heart was saddened.
If you could sit here, please, Dr. Magnus.
The age that cat got flattened.
The host will be with you shortly.
The chats that you had with a reticent dad, and the time one mum walked off into the sun.
Chester!
You can stay.
Really? Thank you, Dr. Magnus.
Leave that alone, please, Colin.
Did I hear singing?
What are you talking about?
You know, people burying their innermost secrets, putting me in a song, like a musical. I love musicals.
I honestly wonder how you ever got this job.
I'm good with sound.
But you're so weird.
Oh, Sprongs have always been weird. In fact, from the very first sprung, there was something very wrong. Trying to be normal when we simply don't belong. But it could be worse. It's a blessing and a curse. Immune to the confusions of the multiverse. When you change everything, I don't feel a thing. I'm only doing this because I bloody love to sing. See, I could stop at any time. But why would I do that? I love it here. Key change. Sprung number 1 had 15 extra thumbs running down his spine from his neck to his bum. Sprung number 2 never used the loo. Made a small fortune from commemorative poo. Sprung 3 and 4 were wanted by the law. She had a tail and he had a claw. Sprung number 5 loved to be alive. Lived for several centuries by choosing not to die.
What's Colin singing about?
His family history, apparently.
How ghastly.
Key change.
Jeremy Donaldson, professional cynic. I try to be supportive, but my heart's not really in it.
Chester Mims 24, and my 3 greatest flaws are hesitance, anxiety, and fear of the outdoors.
Dr. Magnus, you know, he's the star of the show, and he's also pretty terrified, so steady as you go.
I think it kind of hijacked my song.
Where's Megan?
Sorry, I'm late. Vocal warm-up.
Okay, not long now, let's get set.
For number 6, it was worse. He aged in reverse. Got a teacher pregnant while he still attended nursery. 7 and 8, terrible to date. Always turned up naked and their bits would touch your plate. Sprung number 9 had an elongated spine. 22 feet tall with a penis like a washing line. Number 10 was fun.
10 seconds, everyone.
I'd love to tell you more, but the show's just begun.
Okay, everybody. Thank you, Colin. And a 1, a 2, a 1, 2, 3, 4.
Good evening, I'm Jeremy Donaldson.
And I'm Megan Wolf. Deep in the heart of the Chintleberry Hills, the Happiness Collective use their scientific skills. They built a gadget and checked it twice.
It's Dr. Charles Magnus's Euphoria device.
They say it makes you smile.
We'll test that in a while.
So stick with channel 1 all night and don't you move that dial.
It's the night
of smiles.
45 seconds back. Not singing tonight when you have such a lovely singing voice.
Fuck off.
Are you two a couple?
Ugh. Why can't I just be friends with Jeremy? Why do we have to be doing the nasty on top of the desk, running my hands down his minimal chest? Don't think I really have to spell out the rest. Why can't we just be friends?
I think you touched a nerve there.
In 1, 2, a 1, 2, 3, 4.
Welcome back. Well, in a few minutes' time, we'll be bringing it online. Will it make you merry now? We'll screw up space and time.
That's extremely unlikely.
You've got a very good team.
Let's just let it get to the end.
So let's meet our guests and put it to the test. A few little questions first to put our minds at rest. Oh, Dr. Magnus.
If we could just ask you a few questions, please.
You're curing sadness.
Well, no, actually, it's more like...
More like badness.
We're aiming for gladness.
Well, let's hope so. And Dr. Magnus.
Possessed you to make everyone smile.
Isn't this madness?
Dr. Magnus has been sad for a while.
Why the sadness? Dr. Magnus, won't you let us know? Oh, Dr. Magnus, won't you let us know?
All right! Damn you! If you must know the source of my misery. Lights!
Well,
It's been a long, long time coming, but I guess I should explain a little bit of how I feel inside. Things I kept buried deep, bottled up like a wild cat waiting to escape. It's all the same. It's all the same every day, every night. Each lonely footprint, each tiny slide, however they're moan, but they're wearing me down, pulling me under and making me drown. And no one said life would be quietly taking a ride, but it sure would be easier if she was standing beside me. Oh, Delores.
Winston, I'm not what you would call a tech guy. I have a strange glass slab here that seems to want to see my face. I'm not sure I trust it, so I've put a balaclava on. Let's not stick around here any longer than we have to.
I've told you 1,000 times, Chester. It's the number of... Do you know what? I'm going to text it to you. That way you'll have it written down and I won't have to keep on repeating myself.
Yes, of course, Dr. Magnus.
If you could just sit here, please, Dr. Magnus. The host will be with you shortly.
Thank you. Not you.
Sorry, Dr. Magnus.
God, why do they have to make these keyboards so bloody small?
Everything all right, Carl?
What is that? Secret government technology?
What are you talking about? My phone?
Phone? Give me a break.
Well, I really don't know what you're on about. It's not the latest, but
Do you really not have your own phone, Carl?
Yeah, at home, attached to the wall like normal people.
You used to have a landline. No, like...
Oh, my God, you got one too?
Tell you what, tomorrow lunch break, I'll take you out to the shops and we'll go get you one, eh?
Why do I want a telephone in my pocket? It's annoying enough when it goes off at home. I never get anything done.
Phone ringing off the hook, is it?
I don't know. I've got friends. Sprung's are very social. It doesn't even look like a phone.
What doesn't look like a phone?
A phone, apparently.
Well, he has got a point. It does look more like a glass coaster.
Don't you start. Dr. Magnus, Jeremy Donaldson. Jeremy, Dr. Magnus.
Pleasure to meet you, Dr. Magnus. You're the one who came up with the happiness device, is that it?
Well, actually, it's the Euphoria device. The Happiness Collective is the organisation that created it.
Oh, well, I'm sure that's a vitally important distinction.
Sorry I'm so late. Difficult selfie. Bozeman's new promotional campaign is just nuts.
What new promotional campaign?
Well, this one, Jeremy. The look behind the lens. Come on, it's all about the engagement.
Why wasn't I told about this?
Maybe you would have been if you'd answered your phone for a change.
I like to keep it on mute.
Or read your DMs.
I don't know what they are. I just want people to call.
Then why is your phone... No, you know what? I'm not doing this. 10 seconds, everybody.
Oh, Professor Magnus, your Tom talk was just amazing. 31
Going in
million
5,
views.
4, 3...
Good evening. I'm Jeremy Donaldson.
And I'm Megan Wolfe. Welcome to this special OneLive.net event hosted by your national nightly news team.
We are, of course, still broadcasting on Channel 1.
This is Dr. Charles Magnus, whose organisation, the Happiness Collective, have built a device to make us all smile.
For more background, click on the link below.
In just a few moments, Dr. Magnus will introduce his device and explain what we can expect to feel tonight.
And, of course, you can get involved in the conversation yourself by using the hashtag Smile.
So don't close that tab. Keep OneLive.net with you all evening as we bring you the night of hashtag smiles.
Okay,
The holy heck is a hashtag.
so does anybody need anything?
Yes, details about this promotional campaign.
Intending to join us? Update your socials?
Of course not.
Smile, Jeremy. Less of a smile now. You're just scaring the children. No, no. Where is it?
Why does everyone have to keep plastering their image all over everywhere? I just don't get it.
Jeremy, that's literally your job.
But it shouldn't be, should it?
No.
I have fact-based information to impart.
Do you?
All I have is bickering
10
opinion.
seconds.
It's not the same.
Right you are.
It's not the same,
Right,
Jerry.
your opinion, is it? Going in 5, 4, 3.
Welcome back. We're joined tonight by a face that launched 1,000 memes. It's Dr. Charles Magnus, renowned scientist, influencer, and host of the popular podcast, What's Wrong with Chester?
Hello.
Dr. Magnus, thank you so much for being here. Your Euphoria device has been all over Biff Baff and my face for weeks now, and I don't mind telling you that our comment section is just popping off with questions for you, so let's dive straight in.
Or perhaps, before we do, you might like to talk a little bit about the science involved tonight, Doctor.
Well, actually, there's a documentary available to stream on the Happiness Collective's website, newhappynow.org, which goes into a lot of depth about the theoretical quantum physics and vibrational science behind tonight's work.
Absolutely, I've watched it. It's fascinating stuff and all in under 2 minutes.
Sounds rigorously academic.
Well,
let's go to the Tattle feed now, where incidentally both hashtag smile and hashtag hot doc are trending.
Really? Goodness.
This is from AJ is R27. They say another thought machine to keep the sheeple happy, before going on to make some fairly outrageous claims about chimpanzees in the basement of a sushi restaurant and plug his Your Screen channel. But he does end by saying, ask them where their funding came from.
Well, actually, that is a valid question. How did you pay for all this?
Well, AJ is R27. Obviously, we had a very successful crowdfunding campaign on Begging Bowl.
I remember
Listen, I'm not following this at all. What do all these words even mean?
And to come to his other points, the machine doesn't actually affect thoughts, just feelings.
But aren't they inseparably linked?
And the claim about the chimp fiddling is absolutely just fanciful internet conspiracy nonsense. Probably put out by that Alan James and his ridiculous webcast.
Thank you, Doctor. We'll be looking at more of your questions in a minute, but first, quick reminder to
like and subscribe. Yeah, that's right. If you want to be among the first to find out whenever we release new content, don't forget to hit those buttons and keep an eye on your inbox.
Speaking of which, let's get back to Tattle. This next toot is from Unity, Dignity and Equality for All. Well, a little on the nose, but fine. They say, I, for one, think this experiment is a wonderful idea. Providing happiness for everyone is surely the most altruistic government policy of all time. I'm so grateful to Advance for making it happen. There's no question there.
No, but a lovely sentiment for the Doctor and his team.
Yes, indeed, and thank you very much. And I would also like to second that thanks to Advance. Even though we exceeded our stretch goals several times over, it still required a huge cash injection from the government to get us to where we are tonight.
And don't forget, if you've got an unlikely science experiment you want to try,
you can get a government grant at advance.com/fundmydream, and there's a link, of course, in the description below.
Right, this next one is from... Oh, actually, I think I follow her. Yes, she's a fantastic scientist.
Right, we got her surname. Let's get out of here.
This way, please. This is Jeremy.
Welcome, welcome. Delightful to meet you. Jeremy Donaldson.
Dr. Charles Magnus.
Chester Mims. 324. My favourite Guangons are Garglax, Kitterkill and Peng.
Fascinating. Shall we?
Oh, yeah. This is excellent.
Leave that alone, please, Colin.
Robo Jetty. Brilliant. This is the future, then.
It's the present, Colin. Are you feeling all right? Do you need to visit the bliss space?
Bliss space? How much that cost?
You're so funny.
Where is the bliss space?
Same place it's always been.
she was more helpful as a human.
Don't be technophobic, please, Colin. The uploaded are just as human as everyone else.
Is everyone in the future this sickeningly nice?
I guess we'll find that out tomorrow.
So not in the next 5 minutes, though.
Colin, you brighten my day, and I love you.
Right. That's new.
Sorry I'm late. I got caught up at the House of Sensation.
No apology required. You're here on time. This is Dr. Charles Magnus. And this?
Chester Mims, 324. My favourite...
10 seconds.
I'll kiss you later.
No need. I'm not much of one for formalities.
5, 4, 3.
Good evening, friends. I'm Jeremy Donaldson. It's another beautiful day.
And I'm Megan Wolfe. It's the 13th of March in the year 3751, and this is a galaxy-wide broadcast on Interstellar Wave Range 1.
Humanity, as we know it today, is of course lovely.
War, inequality, sickness, crime and death. These have long been just story beats in cautionary tales we tell our infant clones.
But let us never forget that in our primitive past, these were accepted as inescapable parts of everyday life.
And tonight, according to our guests, we will all be able to experience a long-forgotten sensation thanks to this, their despondency device.
Welcome, friends, with love, to
The Night of Tears. Oh, Jenny, you look lovely. New wheels.
Temporary. I should get my body back next week. There was a hold-up. Apparently it's still only 7 years old, but it'll be back for next Giving's Day.
Oh, same one?
Pretty much. A bit taller this time, I hope.
How long does Find Mine need?
No more than a minute.
Wonderful. This gives us all a little time to get to know each other before the experiment.
Are you scared?
Going in 5, 4, 3.
Welcome, friends, with love, to the Night of Tears.
In just a few minutes, the impressive machine next to me will be activated. But before that, let's all adore the man behind the misery, Dr. Charles Magnus.
Hello. So, Dr. Magnus, if your experiment works, and I, for one, believe that it will, tonight, for the first time in more than a millennium, human beings within range will experience what the history books have called sadness. Is that correct?
You are indeed absolutely correct. By analysing the surviving musical compositions and the literary works from before the fall, we believe we can artificially induce this long-forgotten sensation, or at least something close to it, dissatisfaction, angst, or ennui.
I've got to confess, I'm a little scared, Dr. Magnus.
But there's really no need to be afraid. We've set up the machine to automatically switch off after an hour, in case we become so sad we can't lift up our arms.
Goodness, can sadness do that?
No one remembers, Megan. That's what makes this project so exciting.
And you are Dr. Magnus's assistant.
Chester Mims, 324. My preferred atmosphere is 78% nitrogen, 21% oxygen, and 1% other stuff.
Exactly how sad will your device make us, Dr. Magnus? I've heard legends that sadness can drive people to harm themselves or write poetry or become estate agents.
Oh no. Thanks to the sterling work by Dolores and the Atimid emotional resonance, we've been able to develop harmonic...
Well, bloody done, Winston. We've done it. I've got... Thank goodness we're back from the multiverse. A totally original idea here in 1985. Never been done before. But I can't help feeling, given a few decades, everyone will be doing it. Anywho, We've solved this, so don't forget, we care about the audience again. Let's make it a good show. And with that in mind, I've managed to book Smiling Toots Johnson and his Jazz Fandango to play in the studio. If Mohammed can't go to the mountain shall come to Mohammed.
I've told you 1,000 times, Chester. It's the number of blind dates I've been on when no one's turned up, followed by the worrying number... Oh. Hello, Professor Klein. I didn't know you were attending this evening.
Good evening, Dr. Magnus. It was all a bit last minute, I think.
Chester, did you know about this?
If you could just sit here, please, Dr. Magnus. The host will be with you shortly.
Not you.
Sorry, Dr. Magnus.
Are you not staying, Chester?
Yes. Where are you going, Mr. Mims? Sit down.
Didn't you just...
Professor Klein and I think you have a lot to add.
Leave that alone, please, Colin.
This is more like it, yes. Everything's in its place.
You okay, Colin?
Why can't I just be... Glad you're not singing.
Why would I be singing?
Who's the mouse?
Bozeman booked her last minute. Also, there's a new script on the auto cue, and he says you're to talk about love.
Who does Bozeman? Has he lost his fucking mind?
It's a note of smiles, Jeremy. Try and emphasise.
Jeremy Dawson, professional matchmaker, apparently.
Goodness, I hope we won't be needing one of those.
A matchmaker? God, no. The very thought.
Sorry,
ridiculous.
mate. Bozeman held me up. Did he ask you to...
Keep it here, just relay the message.
I heard that.
Well, I think you'd look really good with wings on, actually.
10 seconds.
And a nappy.
Oh, that's a look.
Okay. 5, 4, 3.
Good evening. I'm Jeremy Dawson.
And I'm Megan Wolfe. It's the 13th of March, 1985, and this is a Channel 1 special event hosted by your national nightly news team.
What is happiness? It's a question that has baffled artists and poets since the dawn of time. From the primitive caveman romantically rendering his intended unconscious with a simple stone club to the jazzmen in their spooky clubs, loosening libidos with each daring new progression.
Or the audience, tap, tappity, tap, tapping their toes to the crazy rhythms of the mysterious night in an effort to unwrap her most intimate secrets. Who wrote this?
Bozeman, apparently.
You having a midlife crisis?
And yet she eludes us, this fragile happiness that flits from heart to heart, staying only as a guest until, of course, we are found by our true love and our heart starts to beat in syncopation with another.
For when we are in love, every moment is happy, every sound a melody, every face is radiant, beautiful and engrossing as an alley cat.
And when they find the first word ever scrawled to the cave walls in the flickering light of that primitive flame, you can bet your soul that that word would be love.
Or even jazz.
So don't move that dial, stick with Channel 1 all evening as we bring you
The Night of Love.
You know, Winston, we've reached the end of our journey. There have been ups, there have been downs, but in the end, we've come through it a little older and a little wiser. And I, like you, am looking forward to going home. So let's make it a good one.
Welcome back. Not long now until we take a trip to Planet Bliss. So let's meet the interplanetary cat who'll be our cosmic tour guide, Dr. Charles Magnus.
Good evening.
And with you, you have today...
Chester Mims, 24.
This is Professor Dolores Klein. She works in the Department of Emotional Resonance and has been responsible for fine-tuning the crystal molecules at the heart of the emitter.
Goodness, that sounds like such an important job, Doctor.
Professor Klein.
So sorry, of course, Professor
no,
Klein.
please call me Dolores. Professor Klein sounds like my grandfather.
Surely not the Professor Klein, inventor of the verb.
Yes, that's him.
My goodness, what a contribution to history. At least until Flowers came along and stole your thunder.
Please don't use the F word in front of Professor Klein.
Yes, she finds it very upsetting.
But I didn't use the F word, I just said Flowers.
Will you stop saying that?
What, Flowers?
Oh, those things cost us everything we had. My grandfather died destitute, crushed under a crate of his favourite worms he was trying to get down from the top shelf to polish.
Now, do you see what you've done? I've a good mind to cancel this experiment and walk off the show.
Yes, hurrah!
We've all worked too hard for too long. I will control my unmanageable rage. I apologise for my outburst, Mr. Donaldson.
That really wasn't an outburst.
Never apologised for your passion, Dolores. It's what makes you so impeccable at your job.
Impeccable.
I might even say precise.
You say the nicest things, Charles.
So when the device is switched on, will we all experience love?
Oh, Christ, no. That would be catastrophic. People in love are mentally ill. They shouldn't be allowed to fly aeroplanes or perform sensitive tasks. No, our device will simply bring about a sense of contentment.
Love can be terribly painful.
Yes. Best avoid it. Probably.
There's enough subtext there to fill a poetry book, but apparently we are going to lift the needle from the grooves of the record of love and take a trip downriver to the white waters of Advanced HQ for the sounds and stylings of the country's most powerful couple. I am guessing that means we're talking to the Prime Ministers. So.
Who, just to be clear, are in no way romantically involved.
Well, that's probably a good thing. There's no place for romance in the workplace, after all.
Can't say I disagree.
Makes it hard to concentrate. I've heard.
Yes. So have I. That's what I've heard too.
Let's go to that message now.
Okay.
Good evening, everybody. On behalf of Advanced, Julia and I just wanted to wish all of you the very best of luck with tonight's groundbreaking experiment.
When this project landed on my desk, I just knew it deserved to be funded. After all, what could possibly be better than increased happiness?
And now, here's a little something what I wrote earlier, especially for tonight. It's a love poem, which I want to dedicate to everyone at the Happiness Project and, of course, Mrs. C.
So it's a big well done from us to Dr. Magnus and the entire team at the Happiness Collective. And now here's Peter and his poem, if you're quite sure.
Absolutely, I spent all afternoon on this. Christ, I'm nervous. I'm not much of a poet, ladies and gentlemen.
Are you okay?
Come on, Clement, stop fuck-arsing around and let's get the gimlets smiling. True love don't come along every day, so when it does, you should make hay. If that man gets you dripping, say yes to the whipping, as his famous old Mal used to say.
Okay. Good luck, everybody. Back to the studio.
Fantastic, the Prime Minister's there, and of course without the assets and wealth funding you received.
We'd still be making prototypes out of hope.
And you are Chester.
Chester Mims, 24. I'm attracted to badgers, some shelving units, and women between the ages of 22 and 51.
You're going to press the button, are you?
Oh, I rather think the three of us should push it. Don't you, Professor Klein? Why don't you, put your hand on top of mine?
Yes, of course.
That's right. And Dr. Magnus, why don't you put your hand on Professor Klein's? That's right.
Go on, man. Tell her. This is what we've been waiting for.
You're right, Charles.
I feel a bit dizzy. In if I'm honest.
You need to sit down.
No. No, I think I need to say something. Something I should have said a long time ago.
Well, perhaps you should say it during the break, Dr. Mangus.
Keep out of it, Donaldson.
No, you're right. How silly of me. What was I thinking?
Okay, I think we're going to get a counter on the screen there. We're going in 10, 9, 8, 7. Come on, Dr. Magnus. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I love...
Well, Winston, I'm sorry. We've exhausted each and every one of my ideas. We even traversed through multiple parallel universes, and we still couldn't solve this thing. I suppose we'll just have to get used to this tortured existence, trapped in time. Call Dolores again. We just did that, Alex. It was close, but no fandango, I'm afraid. You might find it amusing to make my channel into a zoo, but I am in no mood. Oh, I see. Throw everything together and maybe the chaos will push Magnus and Dolores together? Well, it's worth a shot, I suppose. Go for it, Winston. Make it happen.
Right, could you all gather on set, please?
Jenny, what's going on? Oh, hello, Robert.
Jeremy, Miss Wolfe, assembled guests.
All right there, Bobby.
Good evening, Mr. Algebra. I've gathered you all here to help me with a televisual experiment.
Why us?
You were available.
I'm between shoots.
I have a book to promote.
Whereas I've been up since 5 yelling at my staff at my capital restaurant, but I'm here too because I'm not fucking lazy.
I'm just here to break hearts and sell garden furniture.
Could we all please just focus?
Sorry, Bobster.
Tonight's television program is entitled The Night of Smiles, ostensibly because we're testing the Euphoria device. But this is a ruse. There is but one aim and one aim alone for tonight's program.
Ratings.
No. Love.
Oh, how gorgeous.
2 of tonight's guests, namely Dr. Dolores Klein and Dr. Charles Magnus, have fostered a deep, unspoken love for each other through many years of tedious scientific research. Yet neither has had the courage to speak of their affections.
Divine. I was in a film like this one.
Oh, was that The Love That Couldn't Sing?
Oh, you've seen it?
I've watched everything you've ever made, usually with my trousers off.
I'm sorry, Robert, but we've been planning this show for weeks, and surely the experiment takes
Fuck
priority
the
here.
experiment! You have no idea what you're talking about. I've seen more versions of this than I care to remember, and I know more about the next 10 minutes than the greatest minds in history. Just get the 2 fucking scientists together, and I will buy you all fucking houses. Understood? Is that understood?
Yes.
Good. And try not to be too obvious about it, Alan.
Why is he picking on me?
You've just got one of those faces.
Oh, and don't mention Flards.
Crazy Neil never mentions Flards. We've still got 6 containers of Werbs to ship.
Oh, well, they'll never sell. Everyone's using Flards these days. More stable at the knuckle joint.
You never forget your first flard.
Great for basting and for throwing at your kitchen staff.
The third Mrs. Neil kept one in the bedside drawer.
Oh, sweetie, we all do that.
I literally just told you not to talk about fucking Flards. Jenny, get the scientists. Let's get this started up again.
What did he mean again?
I'd explain, but you'd think I was weird. I deeply resent being a matchmaker.
So don't then. This is my wheelhouse. Definitely leave it to someone with an EQ.
You'll replace me one day, you know.
Oh, don't be so silly. You're irreplaceable.
Even so, you will. You're the best I've ever seen.
Thank you. Okay, if we could clear the sofa, please.
That's my chair, Jeff.
Oh, Christ, sorry. Right you are. Room for one. Right, yes. Sorry. No, of course, you're not in the staff room now, Jeff.
I think there's room here.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, I'll just budge up a bit.
Room for me on the end here, probably.
Sorry, excuse me.
Just a bit of a squash.
Would you rather I stood?
No, you're fine, Charles.
Remember, everybody, L-O-V-E.
10 seconds, everybody.
They're scientists. They can spell, you doofnut.
5, 4,
I've done everything I can, Winston. The rest is up to you.
evening. I'm
Have
Jeremy
a great show.
And I'm Megan Wolfe. It's the 13th of March, 1985, and you are here with us.
I'm sorry.
You seem to be perspiring rather a lot.
My heart has experienced a mild acceleration, I think.
Oh, let me check.
Is this a good time to mention my new book?
We haven't even got to the opening titles yet, Alan.
What are you going to keep that book on, friend?
Oh, God, not you as well.
You want to buy a shelf? We got all sizes, crazy sizes, and crazy prices. Let's have a look at that book, friend. Yeah, it's here, in this.
What is that? You, come here, come here. What is that? Do you know?
Nah, too crazy for me.
You're a maths guy. What are
What?
They wanted the dimension in They're inches, aren't they?
Your heart rate is extremely fast. Are you all right, Charles?
I feel as if an eruption is building inside me, if I'm honest, Dolores.
What VEI?
Oh, as much as 7, I'd say.
Do you mean millimeters, Alan?
What?
Do you mean millimeters?
Oh, I see what's happened there.
Fucking useless!
My book!
Oh, I'm sorry, everybody. I'm sorry. I just needed a bit of a... Oh, yes, I'm feeling a bit better now.
Oh, please watch out for my tiny book.
Doctor, are you quite all right?
Yes, I think it's just a little anxiety.
Oh.
From me? I'm so sorry, Charles. You're probably allergic to my perfume.
No, it's not you. You smell like a puppy on a fresh spring morning or an orchard in bloom. It's not you, Dolores. It's probably just the experiment.
You know, it's times like these you could really use a flard.
Fucking algebra.
What did you say?
There it is. Sorry, probably my accent. I said, it's at times like these you could really use a flard.
Oh, fuck's sake! What's fucking wrong with you?
What? Look, what is your problem with flards anyway?
Floods destroy my family.
Ah, wash my hands!
Oh, Charles, you saved me.
And I always will, Dolores, if you let me. I love you, Dolores. Even if it did take a mild workplace accident to enable me to say it.
Yeah, you're kind of just sitting on me now.
At last!
Gosh,
Sorry.
I'm so sorry.
Sorry.
Just roll the opening titles.
Hey, that's 1 minute break.
Well, Winston, this menagerie of chaos you come up with better be worth it. Of course, it goes without saying that if we do break out of the loop this time, we'll go home to our respective families, carry on as normal, and never speak of this again. Wouldn't want to have any confusing references or continuity breaks in the future.
Welcome back to the Night of Smiles. The machine behind us will make you all happier. Believe it? Neither do I. But let's press the button anyway and see what happens.
Wow, yes, let's do that. I think we can get a counter on the screen here. There it is, and we're going in 10, 9, come on everyone, 8, 7, 6,
5, 4, 3, 2, 8.
Dr. Magnus?
I'm sorry, Chester. I'm sorry, everyone. But the experiment cannot proceed.
Thank
Because I'm a fraud.
Charles.
What are you talking about, old boy?
Ah, don't worry about it. I've been a fraud for years. My real name's just Neil.
This device is a fraud. A paper tiger.
No, Dr. Magnus, we've attuned everything.
It doesn't matter. We don't need a machine to bring us happiness any more than we would want someone to eat for us or laugh for us. We don't need a euphoria device. Happiness is everywhere already, and it's different for everyone. For me, it's how I feel when I look into Dr. Klein's eyes. And at her meticulous research. But for you, it might be a particular view at sunset, or the darkness of a theater just before a play is about to begin, or your mother's cooking, or all of these things, or a million other things. We don't need anything to make us happy. We just have to go out and grasp it. Chester, inhibit the machine.
Yes, Dr. Magnus. Machine inhibited. Suppose we can all go home.
So there you have it. If you want happiness, go out and get it.
So what now?
We're going to the CFL?
Really? Okay, if you say so. We apologise for the change in tonight's schedule, which was mainly caused by, well, by love, I suppose.
The universe is probably safer, and our boss owns us a house. So all in all, a good evening.
But it's about to get even better as we have a treat in store. It's all the highlights from today's semi-finals of the Feline Football Championships. So let's go to that now.
Jolly good show there, Alex. Jolly good. I'll see you tomorrow when we can get back to the real news.